Hello, and in this video, what we'll be trying to do is to learn how stacks work. So basically, if I talk about what actually the stack data structure is, it's a linear data structure. So I'm going to say stack, but I'm going to say linear. So just like an array, it is also one of the linear data structures that we use to store our things. So I'm going to say linear. Okay, so what exactly is a stack? So basically, I wanted to take an example. Like you have multiple books. Let's say you have books. And you want to store them in such way that they take less space. So how you can do that? You can do that only by one thing. And you do that by stacking over each one on the other. Stack the book 1, stack the book 2, pardon my drawing. And let's see that these are your books. This is your book 1. This is your book 2. This is your book 3. And this is your book 4. These are your kind of books. So if you see, our stack has elements going in and coming out if you need a book. So if we take a look at our stack, it works on last in, first out. And that means that the last in and the first one that came will be out, just like a LIFO. Last in, first out. Basically, what that actually means is that this book 1 is not accessible at this time. Only the thing which is accessible is the top one, like this book 4 at the top of the shelf. So you can only remove this book and study that one. If you want to go for a book 2, what you need to do is to remove the book 4, then you remove the book 3, and then you can have the access for the book 2. Otherwise, you can't have this access. So basically, only the element or the thing that we can access is the one at the top, at the stack, this one, B4. We can only take out that one. And only after taking out that one, I can access the one which are below. So this B3 is covering up for this B2. Unless I remove this B3, I can't remove this B2. So the item which will be inputted very first will be the last item that will be taken out. Let's see an example of where we actually use this stack. So, you must have heard about embedded at your computer the function which, if we say undo, will perform some operations. Or if we are typing a sentence, what we'll do is we say that, okay, I need to go back to something that I have changed. I don't want it. Undo it. And then we have redo. When we do the undo, we can also do the redo. And that means getting this undo kind of denied. Go back to what you did. Redo that thing. So basically, if we saw very closely, this is exactly what's happened using stacks. And this exact two features, this one and this one, is being done using stacks. So imagine a stack here, okay? And then imagine a stack here. Now, listen carefully. Listen to me very carefully. Now imagine you are typing a number, okay? You're typing a number. And the number is 9978451. Okay, you type it one by one. And when you type this one, you say, okay, I don't need that one. What I actually need. Basically, let me just create some spaces here before doing that. Sorry for my crying. Okay, so we were talking about this one. So you say, okay, I don't want this one actually. Here, I want 2. So you cross that one and you put 2 here. So what happened? This 1 went into this stack, which is an undo stack. This is an undo stack, and this is a redo stack. So basically that one went into that stack. And then after that, you say, all right, I don't want this 5 2. I did it wrong. I want 3 here. So what happened now? This 5 also went into undo stack. So you see the operations you are trying to change are going into the undo stack. And now if you try to undo the thing, what will happen? This operation which you performed on 5 will be undo before, and then this operation which you apply on the last character with 1 will be undo. So basically what will happen if you undo is this 5, this 3 that you just changed is going to turn into 5 back, because now this is the value that is at the top of the stack here, right there. And then if you try to press the Control Z, getting undo one more time, then this 2 will be converted into 1, because it was the first thing that you did and it went inside our stack for the first time, so it will come out of the stack at the last time. So if you pay a little attention, that will be really good for you, and you will understand how things are working. So you see the operation that you performed first is get at the last. So when you press the undo, the most recent change, which is at the top of a stack, which you changed 5, that was your most recent change, is changed back to 5, because 5 is the value that is stored. They put back the 5 instead of 3. And then when you press Control Z one more time, they say, okay, we want to replace this 2 with that 1, which is inside the stack. And they literally do that. So that's how things work. If I want you to clarify more a bit, you can see web browser. You say forward and backward. There are 2 commands which help us going forward in a web page, going back in a web page. So even if I'm using some sort of a website, there is a forward button. Like you can say, first I log in, then I see my feed on Insta, then I go into someone user account, and then I go into the Reel section. And you see the browser will create a backtracking address. So what will happen here is that it keep adding it. So you went in the first thing, you went to the login, then you went to the feed, and then you went into username. So this is just starting of a thing, and then you press on the Reels. So what happened if inside the browser you say, okay, go back? What will happen? It will not go back to login page directly if you don't put the URL. If you just press the back button, it will went where? It will went to username. So you say, okay, I'm on the Reels, I'm here, cook that out. I want to go back. Cut off the Reels. Now, where you will go back? Username. You can't go back, skip the username, and you can go directly to this feed. You can't do that. You have to, if you press the back, you will go to username, and then you go to feed. But what can you do is to press them very quickly, so you can just kind of skip them. But actually you can't. You will go to first username, and then you press back again. So it will be crossed, and now that these 2 things are gone, and now all you have left in the stack is a feed and login. Now you're on the feed page. And what you want to do now is to go back to login page. You press one more time back button, this feed button is gone, and now you're back up to the login page. So basically you want to go into the login page from this reel. You want to go directly to the login page, but you can't, because all of these 2 things are on the stack protecting this login page. So you have to go through these 2 things to actually get to that thing eventually. So this is how stack work, and this is what the practical example of the stack. In the future, we will see some coding examples of this, and I hope with very small that these kind of stack, it's like examples, it is very clear that you have learned it. So I'll try to give the coding example, and you can understand it better. So for now, just bye. Take care.